Hey YouTube, it's me KC Classic 7 here. Happy April Fool's Day to all watching this video. And this is going to be my review of Wrestlemania 28. In my opinion, in more recent years, this is the best Wrestlemania, and I would have to rank it in my personal top 5. So I'm going to give you a quick review of the matches and what I thought of them. We're going to start with the pre-show. We had the WWE Tag Team Championships. It was Primo and Epico, Justin Gabriel and Tyson Kidd, and the Usos. I didn't get to see much of the match, but overall, it was a good match from what I've seen. Primo and Epico ended up retaining the titles, and yeah, it was a pre-show match. It was a good match. So the next match was the World Heavyweight Championship match between Daniel Bryan and Sheamus. This was a very, very quick match. Like 18 seconds, something crazy. I personally felt that the match should have probably went on a tad bit longer. Like, I was expecting Daniel Bryan to lose, but not in that quick of time. It was a very, very quick match, and I felt it should have ran a little bit longer. The next match was Kane versus Randy Orton. Kane ended up defeating Randy Orton in this match. You know, this was another good match. It was wasn't anything that was, it wasn't a bad match. It was a good match for what it was. I felt Kane personally needed this victory more than Randy Orton did, because coming in, Kane with the new mask and all, he came in very dominant, and then he hit the John Cena run, had a couple losses against John Cena, and I felt that he really needed this win for him to maintain and keep his dominance, so he didn't look like the same Kane without his mask. So he needed that win, and that was a good win for him. The next match was between Big Show and Cody Rhodes. Once again, I knew Cody Rhodes wasn't going to come out victorious over Big Show. It was pretty much, I felt during the feud, Cody Rhodes, he built up Big Show losing too much at WrestleMania for him to win. So I wasn't really surprised about the Big Show match. I knew he was going to come out with the victory. That was just one of the matches that I predicted and I thought was gonna happen. The next match was between Maria Menounos, Kelly, and they fought against Beth Phoenix and Eve. It's a Divas match, so you know you really can't expect too much from it. You know, considering the fact that it was a Divas match, it was a pretty good match. Kelly and Maria Menounos, they ended up getting the victory. They rolled up Beth Phoenix, which was no surprise. Usually, if Beth Phoenix does lose to one of the Divas, it is through a roll-up. So that was another match that I wasn't really surprised about the outcome in that one. I just pretty much figured Beth Phoenix was going to lose. Beth Phoenix and Eve was going to lose. And that was not really a surprise. But pretty much that match was a layover of the next match, which was a great match. This was the Undertaker versus Triple H in a Hell in a Cell with Shawn Michaels as the referee. So this is arguably one of the best matches on the card, along with two others, in my opinion. So Undertaker, 20-0, he ended up defeating Triple H, but for a portion of the match, Undertaker looked like it was over for Undertaker. Triple H was clobbering him with sledgehammers and chairs, and it got real crazy. What was more significant about the match was the ending, the very, very end. Pretty much the way Shawn Michaels lost 2 years before was the same way Triple H lost this year. It was significant because that ending, it pretty much ended the whole Attitude Era. Those were pretty much the last guys from the Attitude Era, and I felt that the way that they ended the match and the whole walkout, that was very significant and important. So that was a really, really good match. A really good match. So pretty much the whole the Attitude Era generation, all those superstars are done. They're done wrestling. It's over. So any fans of the Attitude Era, you know, that was probably going to be the last glimpse of those wrestlers. And them walking out was very significant. It was a real classy. It was a good match. I was on the edge of my seat because it was many times when it looked like Undertaker was not going to come out with the victory, but he ended up coming out with the victory, and it was a really good match. Another layover match was Team Johnny against Team Teddy. Team Johnny, what the surprise to me, this is one of the surprise matches. Team Johnny came out on top, and it was a surprise because of the way it ended. Zack Ryder, he came in fired up, great, and it seemed like he was gonna end. It seemed like he was gonna end the match with a win. And just a quick little spoiler in the match. If you haven't seen WrestleMania yet, Dolph Ziggler had two amazing spots in this match. He was monkey flipped, and he did two flips. It was crazy. And then after that, he got Rough Ridered, but Zack Ryder was tossed up. I forgot who he was tossed up over. The Miz. He was tossed up over the Miz, and he was Rough Ridered. It was crazy. It was crazy. Pretty much to end this. Sorry, my camera is falling. Pretty much to end this, Eve ends up screwing Zack Ryder, and it makes Zack Ryder look like a chump, man. Like, man, why did you even go back to that hosky? What the hell? Like, she fucking screwed you, bro. That was fucked up. So, what's gonna happen tomorrow? Unsure, but that should be pretty interesting. But I'm happy that Team Johnny did come out on top, because that's the team I wanted to win, but I just thought Team Teddy was gonna come out on top. Next, we have CM Punk versus Chris Jericho, which was once again another great match on the card. This was me personally, this was my favorite match on the card. Like, Undertaker, Triple H, that match told a good story, and the same thing with The Rock and John Cena, another match that told a great story. But this was my personal favorite match on the card. I felt that you had two wrestlers, two technician wrestlers. It was just an overall great match. You've seen a lot of different holds, a lot of different moves, a plethora of submissions. It was just an overall great match. CM Punk comes out on top. He makes Chris Jericho tap, but what was so great about this is that when he locked in the Anaconda Vice, mind you, Chris Jericho has gotten out of many Anaconda Vices in the match during the match. So he locks on the Anaconda Vice, and when he has it locked in, he moves to where Chris Jericho can't knee him and get out of the Anaconda Vice anymore. So it was just an overall great. That was a great match and a great ending. That was also another one that had me on the edge of my seat. It was that was a good match. That was a very, very good match in my opinion. Next we have the Funkasaurus come out with all of his mamas, the whole little dance thing. It was more than anything, it was a really good layover for the next match. Because the CM Punk match, Chris Jericho, because that match was such a good match, you couldn't just have it go back to back with the Rock match, because the people were already on the edge of their seat. You need a little layover time before the finale, which the Rock and John Cena, a tremendous match. The Rock comes out on top, yes, and I'm kind of surprised to see how John Cena is gonna react tomorrow. I'm very, very surprised. I don't know how he's gonna react, because at the end He tried to do the people's elbow. Like, what are you thinking? On The Rock, you try to disrespect The Rock by doing the people's elbow? Like, come on, man. But overall, that match too was a great match. A lot of near falls, a lot of times when it looked like John Cena was gonna get the victory, but he just couldn't do it. He couldn't do it over The Rock. So that was also another great match. And another significant moment in this match was the end of this match, because if you look at the end, John Cena looks like surprised, like he couldn't believe that he lost. Which I felt that between that match, the Undertaker match, and Chris Jericho's match, all three of those told very, very good stories. Just the whole build up to the match, they were perfect, or near perfect in my opinion. So yeah, The Rock ended up beating John Cena, pinfall. Great match. Overall, a great card. A ton of good matches. So I'm gonna have to rate this 8.5 stars out of 10. This was a really, really good WrestleMania in my opinion. If you didn't order it, I would definitely consider going to watch it, pick it up, wherever you can do that at. Very, very good WrestleMania. And I'm excited to see what is in store for tomorrow night. The night after WrestleMania. And the last thing about the Rock John Cena match, since The Rock won, obviously he's not a current wrestler, so we know it's going to be a second, maybe even a third match between him and John Cena. This first one was a great match. I mean, considering The Rock hasn't wrestled for years now, there was a couple botch spots, but you expect that. Overall, it's still The Rock. That is The Rock in the ring. It's amazing. So this is my little quick 13-minute review on WrestleMania 28. If you haven't seen it, you should go check it out. And it's your man, KC Classic, signing out.